Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Conversations with Friends, Season 3, Episode 3. Tonight, this afternoon, Melodic and myself, we have a very special guest. Viv is joining us, and I will say she is family. So,
Well,
if
thank you.
by any
Hello,
chance
hello. Thank
you,
you.
if by any chance anybody disagrees with her opinions, be nice.
It's okay. I could take it. They can
You
bring
know,
us all
you
day.
know, we only want people that's going to agree with us to watch the show. Now, let me stop.
Yes.
So this afternoon, you guys, we are going to talk about cheating, um, from A to Z. We're going to try to make the show the usual, the hour, but we may go a little over, we may go a little less, but we're here. Melodic, what's going on with you?
Happy Sunday. How are you?
Oh,
Welcome, everybody.
I'm a lot better.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that. I think we've had a lot going on, Q.
Yes, yes.
I've been sick, you've been sick, and
Yeah,
we're back in our healing zone and trying to help everybody else along with ourselves, right?
absolutely, absolutely. So I know that you know, you're the quarterback of this thing.
All righty. So today's topic is Oh Cheater. We're talking about cheating, infidelity, and different types. And everyone may not consider certain acts, as cheating. So let's talk about it. I want to read some definitions that I have, and then I would love to expand on it with you guys. Thank you so much, Viv, for joining.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. So cheating. It's an act of dishonesty or unfairly in order to gain advantage, especially in a game or examination. And then there's another one. What is cheating? Cheating is also known as infidelity, and is when a person is in a monogamous romantic relationship and has an emotional or sexual relationship with someone someone outside of the relationship, someone other than their partner. Um, but again, there are other forms of cheating. There are other acts that can be committed that are not sexual, that may be, emotional, or may infringe on your relationship with your partner. So let's get into it, guys.
I
Right.
think I think the when we talk about cheating, I think the definition that you're giving that you gave would it be applicable for our age group? I think
Right.
we're of a certain age, we're of a certain
Mindset.
maturation in our lives
Right.
where we understand um, commitment. I believe that we understand having those conversations before you learn a lot from trial by error.
Agreed.
I think that a lot of
Yeah.
times we jump into situations or friendships, relationships without having those conversations. Like before we had started, I was talking to Viv about you could feel like you're in a monogamous relationship, but the person you're dealing with may be of from a religious background, feel like if they're not married, they're single.
Right.
hmm
So they may not feel like they're in quote unquote a committed relationship. So their definition of cheating could be, look, I'm not put a ring on it, as a lot of females say.
Well,
So
I feel that as we get older, Q, um, your communication skills absolutely get much better.
yeah,
And experience definitely teaches you
Yeah.
that, hey, we need to sit down and have a full-fledged conversation about what I consider cheating, what you
hmm
consider cheating, and what our expectations are within this relationship. So I think maturity and communication is like key within a relationship to
yeah,
begin with. You need to let the person know what your deal breakers are and vice versa.
deal breakers.
Absolutely.
The deal breakers again, huh?
Those deal breakers.
Hello.
Yeah.
Those damn deal breakers.
I think also though that definition it talked about being in a monogamous relationship, but oftentimes we don't think about it. Cheating really is just boundary breaking at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
right? So even if you are in a poly relationship or you practice polygamy, like you
Right.
can still cheat and be
Right.
in a open relationship. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just about crossing boundaries and not respecting
Agreed.
the boundaries you set.
I have a girlfriend who is Muslim, and she believes that her husband, as long as, you know, her ex-husband, as long as he was able to financially take care of, you know, another wife or up to 5, that, you know, he could marry other women. But believe it or not, they broke up because he cheated. Okay. So, I mean, you know, she was in agreement that, yeah, if you're willing to take on the responsibility of another wife, great. That's, you know, that's great. However, he was, you know, out there, you know, he was in them streets.
He was for the streets.
He was for the streets.
Well, so I know that
for everybody.
I know that we have we've done a lot of, I won't say extensive study on the topic, because I think like we discussed, the topic is so different. Like I said, I'm a certain age now where at one time I was very skilled at lying by omission.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Talk
mean?
about it, Q.
And when you're younger like that, and you, as they say, doing you, playing the field, you can be a master of that art, lying by omission. So I would always be like, you know, I ain't lie. I kept it 100.
Yeah, you just didn't
My
give
back,
all the info. Mm-hmm.
But you did, right?
no, based off the information that I allowed you to know. I didn't lie to you. So it's a
But omission is a lie.
Yeah.
Omission is a lie.
no omission. The way that I tried to justify, well, I'll say the way that my younger self tried to justify it was, it wasn't an omission thing. It was just you didn't know all the information to ask the right questions. So if you didn't ask the right questions, I was very narcissistic. So.
Okay, I was just about to say.
Right. A master manipulator. Cool. Wow. Yeah. Oh my God.
So you kind of like you learn to for a lack of better words, you want the world to bend according to how you want it to bend.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So are you saying that someone had to be a detective in order to
and then
order to get you to behave appropriately, when you should be able to discipline yourself?
Yeah, and then a lot of with that, then it goes back to never having those conversations, never being available to have those. Yo, let's peel some layers back. Let's have a talk.
Right.
You know, we keep it a buck on Conversations with Friends. We keep it a buck, and you know, Melodic and Viv may not know, but Viv, one of me and Melodic's first shows that we ever done was about boundaries. That was the first show that we did, and it was actually based off the first conversation me and her ever had.
Absolutely. Okay. For like 5 hours.
Yeah. 5 hours of conversation. The first time we ever had a conversation. And what happened with that, it allowed what we were trying to do come from a place of sincerity, come from a place of this is our intentions for each other.
Yeah.
With I take that back to the younger self. Not being able to have that conversation. Not a lot. I would have never had no 5-hour conversation with no female back then.
Right.
Of course not. Yeah.
No way was, because I'm not letting her know that much about me.
Right. Because you weren't interested in having the layers peeled back at that time. That would have
not at all
destroyed everything. Right. So that makes sense.
She can only know this side of me. That's it. So Melodic, I know that you did some research on how many women cheat on men.
Oh, sure. Did you see that?
You did?
You heard what I said?
I'm okay. Yeah.
I know you did a bunch of research on how many of y'all women cheat on men.
I did not. You did that research on who cheated more, men or women.
Very, very interesting stuff I came up with.
Yeah, where'd you pull that from? Because I don't think that's accurate, but go ahead.
Oh, it's totally not accurate. I'm just talking right now, Viv.
Okay.
So here's one statistic, and this, all three of us wear glasses, so it's going to be hard for me to see.
Indeed.
So between the ages of 18 to 29, it says that women cheat 11% more than 10%. Between the ages of 30 to 39, men 13% to 11%.
Okay.
Between the ages of 40 and 49, men 16% to 12%, women. Between the ages of 50 and 59, 23%, 15% women. Between the ages of 60 and 69, 24%, 16% women. Between the ages of 70 to 79, 26%, 13% women.
So basically, as men get older, they cheat more?
Yeah, I mean...
Okay.
Huh. Okay.
That's a very interesting chart, and I kind of can understand it a little bit, because maybe it could be a sexual thing, it could be an emotional thing, it could be a spirituality thing, or why some men at a certain age, or as they're getting older, they may not understand what a female is going through. Goes back to the communication thing. I'm just using an excuse for why this chart may be like this.
Okay.
She may not feel like she's attractive anymore. So she may not want to.
And this is what age range? Is this the 18 to 29, or is this the older?
I'll say the older, because she may have some fupa going on. So she may have fupa going on. She might think she's fat. She's not attractive. She may not feel like he's desiring her like he used to. You don't tell me I'm beautiful anymore. And I'm just using this as an excuse.
Yeah, because I find that as women get older, Q, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I think that we accept ourselves, especially Black women. We accept ourselves, for who we are. In all honesty, I think most women, especially after they have kids, unless you have great genes, you have stretch marks, etc. Things are just things don't sit like they used to. And I mean, you look at it.
Come here, you tiger-roo.
Hello. That's right. You're a tiger that earned your stripes. Absolutely. So I find that as women mature, they accept themselves much more. Because sexy is an attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that excuse me for 1 second, Viv. That confidence that you exude, I may know that confidence that you have as your partner, as your friend, but if you're in a relationship, the guy you may be dealing with, or your husband, he may not understand that confidence that you have. He may not tell you, because sometimes we get bored, and we may start the relationship with, oh, you're beautiful, you're attractive, I can't stop with my hands all over you, and then all of a sudden,
But again, that's where communication comes into play. Like communication, like, hey, we need to spice this up, baby. What we gonna do? We need to have a date night. We need to do something. He may come home from work, and you may, open the door with a trench coat on with some heels and some pasties. Like, I mean, I'm just saying.
Spice it up. Yeah.
It's too early in the afternoon for this steamy conversation. It's just steamy talk with conversation with friends.
I'm just saying. Like I said, the older you get, the more you communicate, and you need to know what's expected, manage the expectations, and what's needed to make you happy, what's needed to make me happy.
Yeah, but Q, to your point about maybe women feeling more self-conscious as they get older, or kind of being in a space where they feel like their partner's not attracted to them anymore, wouldn't that kind of be the inverse? Wouldn't you tend to see a trend of more women stepping out then?
Well, I believe that because of their maturity may not be together, it may be on two different levels. I don't think that she might step out. I think that he may feel like she ain't give me no pie. She used to give me pie 3-4 times a week, spontaneous. Like it was Now it's because of the hustle and bustle of maybe kids, work.
Mhm.
Now it's more of
Mhm.
I gotta fight just to get some once a week.
Mhm.
So he may feel like, you
Interesting.
know, somebody else may be more available.
And that's
Because the
probably true.
chart is interesting because I know that when Melodic, when you did the research and we discussed it before, men, according to a lot of statistics, men do cheat more than women.
Mhm.
And I was messing with y'all when I said that it was to women more than men, but according to statistics. So
Right.
I would think it becomes more of, maybe a woman just not feeling, like I said, feeling sexy. Maybe she.
No, okay. I'm sorry, Viv. Most
No,
of the
these are-
time, women cheat because of emotional connections.
Mm.
They're not getting something at home.
Wayne's the trench coat.
Yeah.
They're not getting something at home. They're not like you. I wouldn't say the physical aspect, but the emotional aspect, and they may be able to connect with someone else. So that's usually when a woman will step out. Where I think it's definitely more physical for men.
I mean, I was going to also say, honestly, I think when you start getting in that age range, I saw like the 80 plus, the 70, 79, 60, 60, whatever. Let's be honest. I think around that time, women have had it with men. So women are not, we not out here trying to be like, oh, excuse my mouth, whose lap can I sit on? Women are out there enjoying other women. I mean, like enjoying their friend circle. They might be down to senior center, exercising every day, go do a little crochet, going out to different, parties and events.
Playing bingo.
Honestly, I think at that point, who has time? Is 60 something? Do you think I'm going to be?
Viv, something very interesting. Do you know that 55 and over communities, as well as retirement homes, that the STD rates are skyrocketing because they get it popping?
Hey, Dwayne, I'm gonna put this chart up here, Dwayne. Look at this chart for ages that cheats. I don't know if you can see it, but basically the numbers stretch out further, and they all the way goes up to 80 plus. So it's interesting, like you guys said, with the STDs and the senior homes, and how I got a theory on that, kind of like foolproof theory of why I believe it, because I've seen it. I do understand exactly what you're saying, Viv, that a lot of older women may be into the grandkids, maybe into, just chilling. They ain't got no time, excuse for lack of better words. They ain't got no time to be somebody trying to hump on them. You too damn heavy to be on top.
Well, I'm really talking about because we're talking about the cheating. I'm talking about the married
cheating.
Women.
Exactly.
So
right.
I'm not saying that we losing it now. We might be 60 and I might be ready to sit on a dick. You hear what I'm saying? But if I'm married, I've had enough of you, and I ain't really trying to waste my time. Like, that's all I'm saying. The married women.
So, Melodic, when you did the research, what did it say defines cheating? Because this is where it could be so subjective here.
Okay, so all right, hold on. Let's talk about reasons for cheating. Okay. Let's get into that. And let me take my glasses off so I can see the screen. Okay. So lack of affection. That's one. Being emotionally unavailable. Told you, women and emotions, you have to be able to support that. Feeling lonely or neglected by their partner. Fear of intimacy. Avoidance of conflict. Seeking change or variety. Falling out of love. Commitment issues. Resentment. Oh, look at this. Q.
That bit of Barry right there. That bit of Barry.
Self-esteem, body issues. To me, that's really low on the totem pole, because when I do have conversations, it's never that. And ego boosting.
Okay.
So would you like to dig into some of these reasons for cheating? But this list is also for men and women. Okay. It's both. So I will say this. Some of the middle-aged men that I know, excuse me, have gone through a midlife crisis, and they need ego boosting. because some of them may have a dad bod, or they feel like as Viv said, the woman has she's found herself, or found what she's interested in, and she's going out and she's doing various things, and he feels a little neglected. So then, when a younger woman, usually it's a younger woman, pays attention to him, it's like, ooh, okay, I still got it,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or let's say he gets a brand new car, he got a Mercedes now, and the younger women start paying attention.
Yeah.
That's when, sometimes they will step up.
That's what the younger woman call him, his silverback. His silver. So I can understand the emotional aspect. And I'll say this, speaking from a man of a certain age, and I love to say this. I never had this many female friends. And the reason why I say I have more female friends now, because I don't know what's going on with them. I know the ones that I trust, they ain't trying to cross that boundary.
Right.
And I'm not trying to cross that boundary with them. So it allows us to have a friendship that we could talk about anything. And this is why I wanted you, Melodic, to bring it up, because a lot of people will be like, conversation is cheating. Because
Again,
you could have a friend.
Boundaries within the conversation. There are certain There's certain, you're supposed to draw your line in the sand. And I find that some people do not draw their line in the sand, and someone will say something that's a little, out of bounds, and some people will ignore it. I don't ignore it. I'm sorry. I'm not an ignorer. I don't subscribe to that to that method of conversation. I'm going to tell you, that was offensive. You offended me.
And that's where I believe, like for me, it comes to the insecurities, because some people may not be able to deal, because of their past experiences. Some people may not be able to deal with a guy who has a lot of female friends. Mm-hmm. And even if they could hear the conversation, they'd be like, yo, don't you think you're a little too close to her? And you'd be like, no, I'm not too close to her. That's my homie. That's my friend. Like we could talk about A to Z.
I think that, I'm sorry. I think that comes with also the setting of the boundaries as well, because my thing is I should never be able to have a conversation with another man that I can't have in front of my man. Yeah. I'm respectful of you and you're respectful of me, but you can sit right here and listen to everything that's going on and never feel any type of way, because I'm never going to make you feel any type of way. I'm never going to let someone else have that advantage over you ever. Yeah. So ever.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, I've always kind of struggled. I don't mind. I mean, I have plenty of male friends, so I would not mind my significant other having female friends. But I've always been wary of men in particular when they're like, oh, well, this is my homegirl. I could tell her everything. But why is the woman you've chosen not in that category as well? That's my thing. I don't really understand that. Like, why would I be with a man who our friendship is not tight enough where he's one of my homies too? Like, he needs to be on that same level. I've never really understood that.
And Vic, that's interesting, because that brings about so much different dynamic in the relationship, is because, like, with me, I don't mean to come off like a jerk when I say this. Your insecurities is not my problem
at all.
At all. And I say that with, I do understand. I'm compassionate. I understand. I'm gonna have some empathy towards that. I'm gonna help you work on that. But because you, like, for example, right? And it's not even nobody I'm dealing with, right? So I went somewhere and something happened. Nothing happened really, and somebody questioned me about a female. And I'm like, I'm not dealing with you like that. Why are you questioning me about a friend of mine? And it kind of bugged me out, because it's like, damn, you're still, I've known this person for a while.
Mhm.
You're still so caught up and insecure with whatever you got going on
Yeah.
that you're even don't question me about none of my friends.
Yeah.
Because none of my friends have nothing to do with me and your friendship. Or
Right.
it's just amazing how, and not to get too far off the topic, and I'm gonna bring it back in 1 second, how our insecurities we try to make other people go through what we go through with our insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this is one of the reasons why a lot of people might cheat, because they're so insecure that they just bust, and they can't handle the pressure of being emotionally available.
Mm-hmm.
Back to that melodic, and being available, and as we say, showing up and showing out for the person that they're in a relationship with.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I feel like when you have to delete text messages, when you have to go in a separate room to have even a conversation, even though you may not be physically doing something with someone, that's still crossing a line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's about being transparent. You know, and I also feel like your friends should also be they should be considerate of your relationship as well. Like,
Absolutely.
I have male friends, and my male friends are not going to call me at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless it's an emergency. Let's say you broke down and you're calling everybody, you know, like, hey, I need somebody come and pick me up. A car broke down. I'm on the side of the highway. I can understand that. But if you have an issue and you feel like you want to talk to me about it, we need to talk at a respectable hour.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not available then. And my thing is you have to set boundaries and let people know. And this is my female friends too. Girl, don't call me at 12 o'clock talking about, you know, you're having issues with.
Know what they say? Ain't nothing open after 11 but legs.
Listen, my phone is not available after 11. You may call me, and I may be sitting right there, and I'm gonna look at it like, I hope everything's okay. If it's that bad, they'll text me.
You know, it's funny. It's funny because my phone doesn't ring at a certain time, unless it's my job, unfortunately.
Right.
But if my phone rings at a certain time, and it's not my job,
right,
I automatically know, like, whoever that person is, something's wrong. Right. Something's wrong. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no doubt about it. I'd use Dwayne because I know Dwayne is watching. If Dwayne calls me at the 10:30 at night, I'm going to know
something's up. Yeah.
Either he can't sleep for some strange reason,
right,
or something's wrong because I know his schedule. Mm-hmm. Now, for example, that's my bro. I know it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Dwayne's gonna call, and if he don't call at 7, hold up, something ain't right.
Right.
And I say that because, you know, it's weird when you get those type of calls, and I had those calls in the last couple of years from certain family members. You automatically know, like, something ain't right.
Something's wrong.
Right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I hate those phone calls.
They like the worst, right?
I had to sleep before that time.
So let me look at this chart. I put another one up. Hold on.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the age group again.
Women.
That's the only time they say that women cheat more than men. Is
when
the 18 to 29, which I find interesting.
Why? Let's talk about it.
Because I find at that age, most men that's the sexual peak for a man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they aren't usually jaded, you know. I find that's usually when most men get their feelings hurt, and that's what turns some of them into, like,
y'all be breaking hearts,
right? Exactly, heartbreaking.
You be like, dude, you ain't, you know what I mean? I don't want the college, and you still bullshitting around. I'm done with you. Sorry.
You know. And what year is that? Is that like recent? Is that like a 2023? Yeah.
Yes, and 2023 chart.
Okay, I asked that because I do think generationally, the women who are falling in that age range now, there's a very different mentality. I'm not going to say a bad mentality, but it's a different mentality than we were kind of socialized to be before. So now it's kind of the era of sexual freedom, exploring, and I'm living out loud. So I think it's not really odd that the girls are out here.
Dwayne said that
Yeah.
might be the figuring out stage for women.
Figuring out what? I don't think so. I would disagree with that. I don't think we really have our. I mean, I was still trying to figure my life. I was still floundering around 18 to 29. Like, I don't know.
I think that most men at that age are not. They're not mature enough to see the bigger picture and where they want to go in life. And I think that women are definitely more driven at that point to, hey, this is what I want to accomplish in life. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to have this career. I would like to have this home, etc. Whereas usually around like 18 to, I want to say like 27, men are usually like floating around like, yeah, I'm in school, but
That's
like,
why I'm surprised the numbers would be higher for women at that age.
Because I find that a lot of men are not willing to commit at that age.
Okay. So the quote unquote committed relationship or whatever.
And usually women in that age range are usually dating older men.
Yeah.
Guys in their upper 20s, etc. Because they feel like, oh well, he's bypassed all of that.
Cat dog 2.5.
They learn quickly.
Right.
Yeah. And women learn quickly that they have not bypassed all of that, but that's a whole different conversation.
Agree. Well, no, this is the conversation.
I was going to say, let's talk about that.
Because, okay, I want to talk about several different aspects of cheating, because we're not just talking about cheating within the confines of a marriage. We're talking about cheating in the confines of a monogamous relationship. If you and I have an agreement and we're dating exclusively, we're dealing with each other monogamously, then the expectation is that you don't step out with another person, either one of us. So, that is definitely applicable.
I put something in the group, ladies, earlier, and about a guy who said, he's sexually frustrated with his wife, and I'm going to just he basically said he's been dealing with that the whole marriage, and somebody said, oh, you knew from the beginning. I think for a lot of times, even when it comes to that, the sexual aspect of the relationship, a lot of people may feel like they can change the situation. Okay, this is how it is now, and not having that conversation, not like melodic. Even when you just said the monogamous, a lot of people. I find it interesting because I respect everybody's opinions. A lot of people feel like if we are not married, I am single.
A lot of men feel like that, or a lot of people? I'm sorry, I struggle with that.
I feel that way.
No. I said
I struggle with that one. I love it.
I was asking you. I said a lot of men feel that way, or a lot of people. I struggle with thinking that a lot of people.
I think it's Viv. I think it's a lot of people that feel that way. A lot of women. I'm not putting all women. A lot of women that I've seen, they will tell you, if I don't have a ring on my finger, which symbolize a marriage, I am single.
So you just said a key word, though. You said a lot of women will tell you, and I think that's potentially the difference. I think, yes, you might have a lot of women who have that mentality now, who kind of live out loud, like, unless I have a ring on my hand, I'm single. The issue is, and that's not cheating. I'm letting you know that we ain't monogamous. The issue is, a lot of times, I'm not saying all men, but too many men are kind of socialized. Not even monogamy is kind of something like, oh yeah, we monogamous. Of course, it's just me and you. And then I go do my thing on the side because I have a lot of sperm to spread around. So I think the issue is more that.
Ew, Viv.
So I think the issue.
Community sperm, Viv.
So I'm just saying. So I think the issue is a little bit more is that the unspoken.
Right.
Oh, exactly. in my head.
That is very
unknown.
By here, you're exactly right, bro. The key is communication, having a difficult and real conversations between a couple that want to be together must be honest and paramount.
Absolutely.
Yes, by here.
Absolutely.
And see, the thing about it, by here, myself and Dwayne, we're all the same age. We all grew up together. It's a maturity thing. Because I'm telling you, the way people view things at 40 to 50,
Mm-hmm.
they don't view that stuff at 20 to 30.
Mm-hmm.
20
No,
to 40,
there are some 40 to 50-year-olds that are still in the mindset of a 20 or 30-year-old, and that's the sad thing. It's mandatory that we get older, but it's not mandatory that you mature, and that's key also.
Mm-hmm.
The only melodic, the only 50 years I know that still got that mindset, they know what they're doing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, I'm gonna say this: it's not cute to be 50 and still out here in these streets doing whatever. Just like some men don't like community coochie, us women don't like community penis either.
Yeah.
It feels so strange hearing you talk like this. As Dwayne always say, pause. Like,
but it's true.
It's true.
To me, that's attractive for a man to be able to discipline himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's attractive. That's sexy as hell.
Don't get me on that, because it's a lot of brother fuckers around here. Don't get me. That's a whole nother subject on why I feel the way I feel. Most men don't got no dick discipline. So that's a whole nother subject. Viv, don't give me that look, Viv.
I was gonna agree. I don't know that's a whole nother subject. I think that's part of the issue, right? Is the discipline part of it. Because if you're socialized to feel like you don't really have to be disciplined, if you're socialized to believe that the discipline is you're denying yourself something,
right?
Then why would you? You know what I mean? Why would you be disciplined?
So melodic.
Mm-hmm.
What country got the most cheaters?
Let me pull this up, because I actually did not.
I seen one of the charts with the country, and I laughed so hard, you guys, because it reminded me of Full Metal Jacket.
I gotta get back to you on that one. Give me 1 second.
Hold on, I got something. Hold up.
Okay, what you got?
Oh,
hold up.
The United States. That's the United States. Wow.
Yeah.
And Germany is second, and then the UK is third. Yep. Nice.
So I believe it's the United States because this country have no shame, do as you please.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Other countries have laws, cultures. And this it's funny that this comes up because me and Melodic had this conversation before where somebody said that we didn't have a culture, which is not true. Mm-hmm. I think that the United States, different ethnicities have different cultures, different guidelines and boundaries on what they will and will not do. And because the United States is a smorgasbord of different cultures, this is why this happens.
Agreed. Can we also agree that not that you're responsible for other people's behavior, but if we make better choices and learn discernment, we could avoid a lot of the situations that we get into as well.
That's
because there are a lot of women who actually say, I knew he was cheating. I expected that. So you knew he showed signs. So you always had the choice to say, you know what, this might not be the situation for me. Mm-hmm. Because you and I don't hold the same values.
Mm-hmm. He ran through that red flag like it was a red light.
Right.
Well, but in fairness, again, though, so my perspective, and I agree with you, Melodic, right? Like, yeah, we have the responsibility to guard our hearts, so to speak. Mm-hmm. However, when you are in a sea of triflingness sometimes, and again, I'm not trying to down all men, it gets tiring. It's part of the problem. It's like if you're going to date, it gets tiring to have to be a private eye every relationship to kind of sit through.
Okay. Oh, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Good God. Okay. Because now we're, in all honesty, my thing is you're not a child and I'm not going to babysit you. So I'm going to give you enough rope to hang yourself. You make sure that we're going to be very clear. These are what the deal breakers are. Mm-hmm. And if you break one of I was very clear. Open communication. I was very clear. And you were out there. I'm not chasing you down. Mm-hmm. I'm not checking your phone. I'm not hiding in nobody's bushes. You are supposed to be accountable for your actions, and
That's
for every
fair.
action, there's a reaction. So do what you feel you got to do, because I'm gonna definitely do what I feel I got to do. So you grown.
Yeah.
Grown people, I thought, please, I wish I would chase a grown person down. That's tiring and exhausting. I got enough stuff on my plate. Damn that.
So let me ask y'all, do you, and Q, I'm interested in your perspective as a man on this, but Melodic, I want your thought. Do you think that from a woman's perspective, is it realistic to expect maybe more between a certain age range, fidelity from your partner? I don't know, now that we're of a certain age, maybe more so now, but when you're in that, let's say that 30 to 40 range, is it realistic to expect it?
I think I don't think it has a age range, to tell you the truth. I feel like each person matures in their own right. That being said, you do what you need to do, and I'm gonna do what I need to do, and you have to. Everybody has to be accountable for themselves, and I just find that a lot of quote unquote adults are not accountable. And you're not just playing with your life; you're playing with someone else's life, and don't make me an unwilling participant in your foolishness.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like that phrase. For me, I believe that being self-aware of where I am, I'm gonna use this question very, very personal.
Okay.
Being self-aware and striving to be as perfect as I could be sounds selfish, but that's all I care about. I am not trying to figure out another human being.
Right.
I'm not going to wreck my brain, like Melodic said, thinking about what they doing, what they ain't doing. I got my own stuff to worry about.
Right.
Right. And as Dwayne, and I got to reference Dwayne because he's somebody that I conversate with every day. We talk, and we're able to have certain conversations that sometimes most people don't have with all their friends, but he's one particular friend that I can have, that you have to be the person that you expect everybody else to be.
Absolutely.
If you have these lofty expectations on your mate, your partner, you need to move in accordance. Phrase I love to use is that men move accordingly. Men have to be a certain maturity, a certain discipline on himself. Absolutely. So even if he does find himself in a situation, he has to be disciplined enough to say, nah, I'm in a relationship. He has to talk. If he's talking to another female, conversation-wise, he has to address her where she knows by his conversation, he's in a relationship. I can't even give this guy my phone number because I know that he's in a relationship. And you just got to for me, just be that person every day, every second. Know your imperfections. Know your weaknesses. If you do have those type of weaknesses where you just love women, which I know a lot of men just can't get enough of women. And I get it. But you got to understand those weaknesses. And if that's what you're trying to do, you're trying to perfect yourself, your own character, and how you go about your business, you got to do what you got to do.
Well, and just let's talk about this, Q. Talk about the danger that you're putting other people into if you have an agreement with this person that you're in a monogamous relationship with. One, you're putting this person at risk sexually, whether you protect yourself or not. That's one. And then sometimes you stumble upon people who are not playing with a full deck. So what happens when you don't want to be with that person that you're cheating with, and that person comes and shoots up your whole family, your wife, your kids, etc. Your lady, your kids, etc. Your man, your kids, etc. You just never know. And if you don't want to be in that committed relationship, be very honest.
I'll be totally transparent about that. Having those type of friends where, we always talk about, people gossiping and stuff like that. I'm a firm believer that you don't have to just learn. You can learn from other people's mistakes. You do not have to fall in that hole.
Mhm.
So when you look at social media, you look at everything that's going on around us. And Melodic, we do it. You'll send me something that you saw on IG, and you'll be like, "Yo, what you think about that?"
Right.
And a lot of times we get to the point where we're judgmental. I believe that that's never the way we should take it. Don't be judgmental. Look at it as a learning experience. Like, yo,
Yeah.
Right.
you put yourself in that situation. One of the things that I always go back to is that young brother that disrespected the female in the chicken shack in the summer, and she shot him and killed him. Like how that whole I go on a lot where it's crowded, people want to order. It's a lot going on, and I always say to myself, your number one job, and our parents always told us, is to make it home. So I always say to myself, like, how are you getting to a point where you're arguing with a total stranger
Right.
Mhm.
in a
That's
store?
serious.
Some people get online and get to the point where they're arguing with a total stranger online and going back and forth instead of saying, "Oh, it ain't that serious. It's not that important." And to your point, Melodic, bringing someone into a monogamous relationship and not knowing who they are and whether they cuckoo for cocoa
Mhm.
puffs.
Right.
Turns,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
we saw Fatal Attraction as kids for a reason.
Hello. And another movie. What's the name of the movie? Falling Down with Michael Douglas. Oh my goodness. Viv, you have to see this movie.
I'm
if
gonna have
you
to see that
haven't
one.
seen
Falling down.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
it. You just never
Falling
know
Down?
what
He left
mental
his car in the
state
middle of
people
traffic.
are in. Yes, and he went on a killing spree. You never know what somebody has dealt with in the past. You never know what someone is going through, and you're playing with fire. A lot of times, you're playing with fire, and it's not worth it. So
Yeah.
because you just want to get your
So let me ask you guys before I put the chart up.
Mhm.
Who cheats the most? What occupation? Firemen? I know people used to think cops was biggest cheaters.
Oh, I would say cops.
I was gonna say cops.
I would say military. I would say military. I would say
Yes.
cops. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Firemen, etc.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Advertising public really.
Oh, okay. Education. Okay. Computer software. Okay. Wow. Okay. So advertising and public relations. Wow. I mean, I guess you meet a lot of different
Meet
people.
a lot of people, yeah. But education.
Man, that corporate office. Hello, Dwayne. It's very incestuous, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would have been of the same opinion from what I've heard about law enforcement. I know a lot of women that be like, yo, I don't mess with no cops. Yo, they ain't right. Even female cops will be like, I ain't messing with none of the male cops because they a bunch of hoes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I know that in those, it's amazing how many relationships do come from the work environment, but it's like Dwayne said, that corporate office, it could be wicked. It could be wicked. And I find those interesting because I know a lot of people, and I'm quite sure both of you two are the same in this. Yo, just because we work together, you ain't my Facebook friend. Yo.
Right.
And that's where you gotta, like Melodic always say, you gotta have those boundaries to be like, no.
Don't let me find you first because I'm gonna block you.
Well, I'm different. I'm Facebook friends with a lot of people I used to work with. Like I've been blessed with like some good people. But I mean, I think the reality is that happy hour. All them after work outings is what catches people up.
Dwayne, you telling on yourself
I'm
now.
about to say, come on now.
So one of the things that I noticed about it is I don't know, man. Like you gotta that certain age and being mature for me was big. Being able to have those boundaries, set up those boundaries was big. Understanding who you are, that self-awareness, your age. And then at the end of the day, like Melodic said, that even if you don't get the cuckoo for Cocoa Puff, even if you don't get crazy, it don't end well.
Right.
I mean, yeah, there's nowhere for it to go.
Right.
Somebody's going to lose at some point. But
Right.
I want to piggyback what you say, Q, when you talked about self-awareness. So I kind of have this theory also with cheating that's not typically on the list of why people cheat, that in our society, we press monogamy so much. But I truly believe more people um, are probably poly. And I think that's something that we don't talk about enough. And I think that we have a lot of people who,
Ooh,
because
that's another episode, Viv. We're gonna have
so
you
I'm just
back on.
throw that back out. I think a lot of people, because we're raised in a society where it's the expectation oftentimes is monogamy, deep down inside, people don't get to really tap into the fact that, like, oh, I'm not a cheater per se. I genuinely am able to have formed connections and relationships with multiple people
Excuse me,
and love
ladies.
multiple people.
With all due respect, sometimes a nigga just want a different hole.
Listen to what I'm saying. I hear what you're saying, but
I didn't mean to say that,
listen.
y'all.
No,
Apologize because I know y'all women. I got the
I
ultimate respect for y'all. And
it's
I
all
didn't mean
good.
that in a demeaning way.
No. I hear what you're saying, but I also wonder, even that's true because sometimes women want
Yeah,
a different dude. You know what I mean? That's okay. That happens. But I do wonder, though. I mean, we talk more about polyamorous relationships now, but I do have to wonder. Like, I've seen some people who really struggle to be monogamous, and on the surface they look like trash ass dudes, but deep down inside, I think for some of them they really are. They would be poly if they
yeah.
would have looked
But be
at all.
honest. Be honest.
I agree with that,
Mm-hmm.
but there's so many layers to how
It's
we're
like it's
socialized
like
sometimes.
it's like when because of who we are, we developed a culture that is fairly, for the lack of better words, very new. So
Hmm.
we're trying to live as African people in America, and you know whether we're indigenous or not, I don't know what we believe, particularly believe, but you may have like people's culture, people's religion who believe in more than one wife, more than one woman, the village,
More than one husband.
Hmm.
more than one husband,
Mm-hmm.
and like we discussed, that conversation, having that mature aspect and understanding who you are, be like, yo, like I just can't, like, look, I like you, dude. You're a good guy.
Yeah.
You treat me well, but I can't be committed to one man, or
Hmm.
vice versa. If a man got to be able to say that to a female that may want commitment from him.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. Let's talk about
Dwayne,
some signs of cheating. Oh wait.
Most of
But
them trying to be
honesty,
honest.
that's right, Dwayne. Most people are not trying to be honest. You're absolutely right. But let's talk about some signs of cheating. As far as communication. Sometimes there's changes in communication. And then sometimes, well, the conversation is cut short. It's very curt because I mean, if you're a decent person, there definitely has to be some remorse if you're being dishonest,
Hmm.
or a halfway decent person anyway. I don't know. I mean, some people are sociopaths.
They be out here.
Right. An increased interest in appearance. Going to work, and whereas before you would wear, you would just throw on whatever, you're looking like a librarian. But now, you want to put on heels, you put on a
Hmm.
full face, your face beat,
hey,
etc.
my first lady is a librarian.
Okay.
Hey, I'm talking about President Biden's wife. Anybody? She's a
More,
librarian.
oh Lord, more time spent away from home. You're not available. You don't make yourself available because you're making yourself available to someone else, and there are a lot of gaps in time. Your attitude changes. That person may not be as attentive to the other party. Lying, avoidance. This is a big one. They accuse you of cheating.
Oh, that's the insecurity shit. Yeah.
Come on, let's talk about that.
I mean, I always call that the insecurity. You put your insecurities off on me. You Bahir's made a big statement about it, and it's like not being honest from the door. Like I believe that in a relationship, and when I mean relationship, I don't even mean with your friends. I believe that you even need to tell them about your insecurities. If they're your friends, tell them. Tell them about I got issues. For example, I got an issue when I go in dollar stores. I never get what I'm supposed to get. I get more. It's just always been this way. And y'all, Melodic, you laughing, but it's the truth. Like, and it brings up a trauma that I had, which I understand it. So, Melodic, if I'm come visit you, I'm like, yo, let's shoot to the dollar store real quick. You would have to literally tell me, what are you going in here for?
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Stick to the script, Q. Like,
Okay.
because it brings up so many issues, and it's like having those insecurities, and people always be like, the last person I was with, she stepped out on me, she did this, she dogged me. If you're in a relationship, you should tell that person, like, yo, I got insecurities. I just don't trust like I was supposed to. I want to love you. I want to be with you. I want to trust you, but I have trust issues. Tell that person.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, ideally shouldn't be that difficult, but
Right.
it is.
That's the weirdest thing about our whole conversation today. Is like, even having this conversation, for most people, you would think it would be easy to communicate, but it's one of the hardest things to do.
Right.
People can lay down and show each other their ugly face, but they can't communicate to the person that they're laying with.
Exactly. So
Which is
sorry.
crazy how society is upside down.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
Let's touch on technology and social media and how it's also helped and aided in cheating and making, it's a tool.
Mm-hmm. People are more accessible now.
Absolutely.
Slide in the DMs.
What?
Like a
It goes
picture.
down in the DMs, right?
Absolutely.
I have an issue with that.
Okay.
Because I am a liker of post. I'm a person who loves pictures.
Okay.
Love my people. And I'm gonna show my people love. So a person that don't really know me may be like, oh, this nigga thirsty as hell. But at the end of the day, like, if one of y'all had a picture up there and y'all looked nice, I'm gonna put the love symbol. I'm like, yo, you look nice as hell. However, even if you were in that picture by yourself, with a guy, with your kids, with whoever, I will still say that.
Mm-hmm.
But from the outside looking in, a person, like I said, that insecurity, somebody may be like, yo, why he always commenting on her stuff? It don't look right. It don't seem. But at the end of the day, like this, I believe you should show people love. You should show people, like, for example, you may go out. Now, some people may not really dress to go out, like throw it on. And they may be feeling a little insecure about what they got on, but they got it on. So maybe my love symbol, maybe my look, you look nice. Maybe that may be like, oh shit, somebody, told me I look nice. I think some people need that type of love their way.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But like Melodic said, and Viv, you agree, social media be like them DMs, like, yo.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I think it gives people courage, honestly. I think social media absolutely gives people courage, because I can definitely say that I've received some DMs from people that I would have never thought that would have said, anything to me, just like, oh, so-and-so, cool or whatever. And then they'll send you a message like, oh, I always had a thing for you. Like, what? Excuse me?
Yeah.
So.
I think it's also just access too. Like, most women don't want that. They want to get married. I just made 5 minutes ago. Who you meeting?
I hear they're about to jump you.
Who you meeting? But all right, I'm gonna let you rock with that.
5 minutes ago. I don't necessarily agree with that, Bahir. Because to me, marriage is first of all, a relationship in general takes a lot of work. That's first and foremost. And marriage, that's a whole nother level. You're mixing finances, etc., with that person. And no.
Yeah, I'm about to say, not over
No,
here. I ain't jumping in. No.
no.
Just imagine that thinking about marriage. Sometimes we be looking for that perfect situation, but you know
There's
damn
no
well ain't nobody
There's no
perfect.
perfect
There you go.
And you
situation.
be
There's
like,
absolutely no
damn,
perfect situation.
there's shortcomings I just can't handle. And then you may be like, there's shortcomings I can handle. They're for lack of better words, weaker in an area where I could pick up the slack. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, oh.
And what happens when you just don't want to? You don't have the capacity. Put it like this: when you're married to someone, there's no getting away from that person. You could be having a bad day. You're in a bad
Mm-hmm.
mood, and guess what? This is their house just as much as it is your
Yep.
house. So it sometimes it's so all consuming, and it takes so
And
much
then
effort.
Mm-hmm.
melodic, and then
Mhm.
that goes back to your point. Someone may feel like why are you always on the computer? Why are you always in the other room?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, it could be totally just, I'm giving you your space.
Mhm.
Long as I know you're in the house and you're safe, everything's good. We got groceries, the house is clean.
Yeah.
You go your way, I go my way.
Right.
And
But
it's
then
cool.
what happens when you don't want to be in the house? What happens when that person is like, okay, you know what? I want to switch it up a little bit. Now I decided that I want to, I don't know, let's say take these yoga classes. I want to do this. I want to do that, whatever. If you're dealing with someone who's insecure, if you're dealing with someone who has cheated in the past, or if you have cheated in the past, that also can bring, disruption within your relationship as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the things, right, you guys, is I used to where we grew up at, we used to always see the older guys hanging in the diners. Even now, you see the older guys hanging in Dunkin' Donuts. And
Right.
one of the things when I go to Jersey is me and my cousin, we go chop it up. We'll go to any gas station, any Dunkin' Donuts, and sit there and talk, have our coffee, and as they say, talk like old men. So when I was younger, I used to always wonder why. I used to always wonder why the older guys who were married, who had families,
Mm-hmm.
why they would be at Dunkin' Donuts and stuff, right?
It's a safe
Because
place.
you need space.
Right.
And I think
And
that's
that
that's
camaraderie as well.
essential to have that, as we would say, long as mama's straight, I could go out. Now she could give me my peace of mind and I could just be chilling. Like I could go to a gas station and just chill. It's very important that you have that in, I believe, in your relationship, and have
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
communication, like
Yeah.
be able to have a communication aspect of telling that person everything.
Mm-hmm. But for so many generations, that got lost for women. And now, again, that's probably a whole nother show. But it has typically been the mentality of men having that space, men needing that peace, etc. And where are the women? At home with the kids, at home dealing with the home front. But women need that space too. I always say I will never get married until I can afford to have a mansion with wings on it. You be on your wing, I'll be on my wing, and we can meet in the middle. I don't play that game. I am an introvert and I need my space. So it goes for both. Both men and women need space, but too
Agreed.
often I don't think women get
You
that.
on you're an introvert and you on the internet doing a show and you're an
But I'm
actress.
a whole,
But you know
whole
what,
introvert.
A whole introvert, right?
Introvert.
Viv, you have to take that.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely have to take that.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody needs space to just come down off of the overstimulation of the
Absolutely.
lives that we lead.
Yep.
I mean, I'm talking about work, I'm talking about the kids,
Mm-hmm.
etc. And that's where the communication comes in again. And I think, in all honesty, some people feel overstimulated and overwhelmed, and that may be another reason why people step out as well.
Absolutely.
Because now you go over here and there's no responsibility attached
Mm-hmm.
to it. So this
Absolutely.
is my time to just
My
let
escape.
loose.
Yep.
Exactly. And they don't
Absolutely.
want anything from that situation other than
Mm-hmm.
that release. But that's also
Absolutely.
like a vice and a drug is in and of itself. That's why
Yeah.
some people actually smoke weed, drink,
Mhm.
etc., smoke cigarettes, because they need that release. That's where they're,
Yeah.
they're getting their, as you would say, quote unquote, with Q, your peace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen, Viv, you may not know this, but Melodic knows. Like my piece, it encompasses a lot.
Okay.
And I know everybody would never be able to deal with me in a relationship. My peace encompasses I love to travel by myself.
Okay.
Like if I'm driving, say if I'm driving to go see my son, Melodic live very close to my son, I'm by myself. And it not all the time, but for the most part, this gives me the opportunity to think. And I know that because of life experiences that I was forced to learn solitude like that. That's why I'm so comfortable doing it. I've taken books and just sat in the park like older people and sat there and enjoyed myself. And I think that's one of the things that's missing nowadays. And even from the pandemic, a lot of people learned a lot of lessons about themselves during the pandemic, and they've getting to the point now that they're forgetting those lessons. Like the pandemic happened for a reason. And I think that we should remain understanding how to communicate, even so much where we did shows, I think, Melodic, during the pandemic, right after, how divorces went up because people wasn't used to being in the house.
And so did domestic violence, right?
Yep, absolutely.
It skyrocketed.
So, ladies, do you have any closing thoughts, either one of you?
I still feel that honesty is the best policy. Be forthcoming with your expectations within the relationship. I think both people should be forthcoming with their expectations, and so that you can manage each other's expectations as well as your own. And just be straightforward in communication and maturity. So let's be honest, some people are just not mature enough to be in a monogamous relationship. So if you want to be, if you for the streets, be for the streets.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think communication, like Melodic said, is at is the key to it all. Just communicating what your needs are. I personally, I'm kind of like the non-traditionalist, I guess, at this point in my life. I kind of struggle with the idea of relationships. The thought of relationships feel claustrophobic to me. So I kind of struggle with the idea of monogamy in that way. So, I mean, I just think at the end of the day, though, it's about knowing yourself so that you can communicate that to someone. But I think it's complicated. Humans are complicated. It's layered. You don't want to hurt the other person. You're afraid of being rejected. I mean, there's so many things there, but discussion for another time.
In closing, I'll just say about this particular show. Very, very, very good conversation. Very good conversation with two people that I respect a lot as women, as people. Love their opinions. One of the things that Melodic did when she made the mission statement is to have infuse the Black community with having these conversations again, because I think these conversations are lost. I think these conversations don't happen in relationships a lot, and I think these conversations don't happen in friendships a lot.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Where you're able to disagree, but agree and understand that nobody's right, but nobody's wrong. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but however, life is nothing but a learning experience, and we live to learn and be able to move on. And hopefully, someone got something out of this conversation. I know I did. I'm quite sure these young ladies did.
Indeed.
And we look forward to picking up conversations with friends every other week, every other Sunday, going forward. I know it's been a lot, and welcome Viv to the show. Welcome Viv
Thank
to
you.
Viv and myself. We'll be doing something in the future, and really, really had a very, very good conversation, and the hour went by so fast.
Indeed. And everybody be well, stay healthy. Seriously.
Yes, Dwayne. Listen, learn, grow.
Indeed.
With that, everybody take care. And have a good day.
All right.